NASCAR spends its weekend in the land of cheese and beer. Busch cars and Craftsman trucks doing it 1 mile at a time in Milwaukee.
Hear what the guys in the Winston Cup garage are saying about crew chief Booty Barker, a rising star atop the pit box.
We're also giving a lot of airtime to the impact aviation has on stock car racing.
Plus honors for Bobby Labonte, two-wheeled fun with Kyle, and a tribute to a legend as Speed News plays on.
Speed News NASCAR edition, presented by Circuit City.
Hello again, everyone. The Winston Cup regulars are off for the last time between now and Thanksgiving, I guess, but there's still lots of racing to talk about. I'm Bob Barsha.
And I'm Dave Despain. When the Cup guys lay out, the NASCAR Busch Series stars are happy to take the spotlight. That series hit the halfway mark this afternoon at the Milwaukee Mile, the flat oval at the Wisconsin State Fairgrounds, recently refurbished in celebration of its 100th anniversary. Qualifying rained out, so they lined up this afternoon based on the owner's points. Didn't matter much to Scott Riggs. He took the race lead early from Johnny Sauter and set out to try to take the point lead, though that didn't work out. 70 laps later, number 5 Brian Vickers takes the advantage of number 2 Ron Hornaday's mistake, goes to the lead. Chad Blount, who just signed a Roger Penske contract and had Ryan Newman spotting for him today, had a short day. She's blowed up. Key pit stop. Vickers on top had a bad one. Riggs in the middle had a good one. Vickers winds up 5th while Riggs gets the lead. The bad news is he thus had to deal with Shane Meal in the white 48, trying way too hard to stay on the lead lap. Shane wound up with a 1-lap penalty for rough driving, but not until he had torpedoed Hornaday's chances to come back and win. 3 wide won't work at Milwaukee, and it was pretty obvious which one of those 3 didn't belong there. At the end, it was a teammate battle for the lead. Jason Keller gets around Riggs just as the caution comes out for Georgia rookie Joey Clanton, who spun with 18 miles to go. Vickers clawed his way back to Riggs, who was fading fast and took over 2nd. Riggs fell to 7th as Mike Bliss's late race caution ended the thing under yellow. Keller taking a long-awaited win at the Milwaukee Mile and telling our Ray Dunlop what it was really like out there.
Today was career victory number 10 for Jason Keller. Jason, you guys were not the best car in the early stages of this race, but you certainly were at the end, and that's when it counts.
Well, I was saving a little bit. I knew how slick this racetrack was going to get, and just a great race car all day long. And you guys have been working hard on pit road, so I want to commend them. We never lost a position. Actually, we gained 2 positions on pit road, so it was just a great day. I mean, 100th anniversary Ford, 100th anniversary for the racetrack. Finished 2nd here last year, so we got our act together today.
You guys go 4 races without a top 10, then you come back to Kentucky with a great run and come here and win. Does this give you the momentum you need to go into the second half and chase this championship?
I think so. I mean, I think we started chasing it at Nashville, actually, and then we had a mechanical issue with it there, but I think we started our turnaround at Nashville, although we didn't get the finish we wanted, but it's a great race team. I mean, we need some luck on our side, and everything played out for us today, so we're not out of this thing by any means. Hopefully they'll forget about us, and we'll sneak in there and win this thing.
Don't even think that these guys are out of it. I promise you guys. Jason Keller, the winner here at Milwaukee.
All right, thanks, Ray. Here's a look at the top finishers. A hard-fought win for Keller over Vickers and top rookie David Stremme. Green, Riggs, and Bodine, all points leaders at one point this season, finished 6th through 8th. Riggs led the most laps, but faded from 1st to 7th in the final 20. Now some more post-race.
It's very frustrating, you know, to know that we had the car to beat and not win, but we've had that a lot this year. We're getting used to it, I guess. You know, it feels good to come in 2nd, get another top 5, and we're going for the points.
You know, the first part we stayed out on that long run just trying to get track position, hoping for yellow, and it kind of hurt us in the mid part of the race, but we just kept getting digging and, you know, never giving up type attitude, and that's what this team has. And Jamie gets the wheel there at Daytona and Chicago, New Hampshire, and then I'll get back in the car. So we'll just try to keep this rolling.
It's one of them things. He's trying to get his lap back, but, you know, he about turned 10 cars sideways and about wrecked him going into 3. So by the time I got underneath him, he gave up on the 10, so he decided to come down, and I was there. But as far as he drove him up in the marbles, I didn't think both of them were going to come back. There was a big hole on the bottom, and when it grabbed, it turned straight into us.
We didn't gain anything. I don't think we lost anything. So it was, considering how I've run here in the past, it was very good for me. You know, of course, this team is focused. They want to, you know, we want top 3, top 5 finishes every week. So to lead that much of the race, be in position to win the race and not even finish in the top 5. I guess they're coming with 6th or 7th there. That was pretty heartbreaking. That's pretty hard to swallow. But like I said, we'll go to next week and try to be better at it.
As Dave mentioned, halfway point of the Busch season, and the only change in the standings in Milwaukee was a position switch between Johnny Sauter and Mike Bliss, now 8th and 9th. Green leads Riggs by 45 points, with Bodine, Hornaday, and today's winner Keller 100 or fewer behind.
We have another 200 miles to cover at the old fairgrounds. The incredibly tight chase for the Craftsman Truck Championship next on Speed News NASCAR Edition.
And later on, how race teams get from here to there. We're now boarding for an in-depth look at Air NASCAR.
The NASCAR Busch Series update is brought to you by Smooth Busch Beer and Easy Drinking Busch Light, the proud sponsor of the NASCAR Busch Series.
All right, you've seen the Busch Series highlights. Now let's tackle the second half of that Beer City doubleheader.
The outcome of Saturday's Craftsman Truck 200-lapper at the Milwaukee Mile further squeezed NASCAR's tightest points race. Rain delayed the start by an hour at the mile, but Cup star Kevin Harvick got the night off completely after just 6 laps when something in the engine broke. Flat and fast, the mile's great for side-by-side racing. Lap 42, Dennis Setzer goes after pole sitter and defending champ Terry Cook and takes over the point. No repeat winners in the 8 years the trucks have run in Beertown. Wisconsin's own Ted Musgrave, the 2000 winner, gave a shot, passing Setzer for the lead, but it all went downhill for Setzer from there, including running out of fuel 6 laps short of his scheduled stop. Into the second half now. Leader Jason Leffler gets caught up with the lap 31 of Tina Gordon, and Rick Crawford in the 14 goes high and outside for the point. Bobby Hamilton came in with a points lead, but a blown engine dropped him to 29th. He lost that lead, but wait till you see by how much. 53 laps to go. Brendan Gaughan, with 3 career truck wins, all at Texas Motor Speedway, drives past Leffler for the lead. Gaughan pulled away from there to grab his first win anywhere but the Lone Star State.
Dodge guys, had their faith in us, and the Orleans gang worked their tails off. We had to win that pit stop deal again today, and these guys work harder than anybody. I love them to death. You just got to stay clean, stay up front in that clean air, and man, we were able to do it. We even able to pass on the high side again. I like high passes.
We had a good truck. He had a good truck, and it got pretty dicey there. That was a brave move he did on the outside, but he wanted to lead some laps. He had a good truck there. I got to thank all the guys on my team did an awesome job. Team ASC, CarQuest, Dodge, all our sponsors, and what great pit stops they had. It was a really incredible day.
I went to block him, make him get behind the lap car, and he made it 3 wide into 2, but I didn't want to give him any room. I'm a racer. I told him last week, he come up and said how stupid a move that was, and I told him last week it's been forgotten. I got to go on to Milwaukee and race. I got to race him week in and week out.
Finishing 4th here in Milwaukee, you got Brendan Gaughan and Rick Crawford and everybody right alongside of you, and we got Dennis Setzer finished right behind me. How do you gain points that way? You really don't, so all you can do is, put them in check.
The trucks are chasing a record points fund this season, and with that season less than half over, it's anybody's guess who's going to get the biggest check. Gaughan leads by a single point over Hamilton and Crawford. Travis Quapple just 11 points behind, 73 markers from 1st to 6th.
Put aside thoughts about how Winston Cup crew chief Booty Barker got his nickname and get ready to meet the remarkable man behind the wrenches.
Also coming up, honoring the late Dale Earnhardt's legacy. Bobby Labonte is the winner of the second quarter voting as Speed Channel presents the 2003 Driver of the Year. Labonte's 5 top 3 finishes in 6 Winston Cup races during the quarter brought him 2 first and 6 second place votes from the 18-member media panel, and a 3rd place finish in the fan vote for a slim 3-point edge over Indy 500 winner Gilles de Ferran. Nearly 130,000 fan votes were tallied at SpeedTV.com, triple the first quarter total. Bobby picks up a new Maurice Lacroix watch, and he has you to thank for it.
It doesn't happen often, but the majority of the NASCAR Air Force is grounded this week thanks to the open weekend on the Winston Cup schedule. Drivers flying around in their own airplanes is old news. Curtis Turner did that. But these days, an incredible fleet of corporate aircraft are the key to keeping the sport of stock car racing on schedule.
I think aviation is one of the single most important things.
It's made the Earth smaller, and it's made possible for people to do things in a day or in a week they otherwise could not accomplish.
As in many other avenues in life, people in NASCAR have a lot to accomplish, which has led to an abundance of personal aircraft.
You can do this series as a driver. You can do it and fly commercial all the time. But I mean, you're not going to be able to do all your stuff for your sponsors. You're not going to be able to spend much time at home because, you know, there's not always flights when we need them. And our races are over. We don't know about rain delays or red flags or anything like that. And, you know, you can't count because of traffic or what time you're going to be at the airport. Sometimes it's a little bit of hike to the nearest big city. So you can still do it without a plane, but I don't think anybody in here wants to.
We had to have an airplane. I just physically cannot do what I wanted to do and get done and service all the sponsors. I work with a lot of great companies, and I do a really, really good job, I think. But without aviation and a helicopter, we could never do it.
Well, there is a lot of pressure from all the media attention and all the sponsor interests that go with the sport today. And the fact that we're able to use our private carrying, not regular commercial air transportation to move our people and to move our management means that we can put more things in a week. We can give our sponsors a better value. We can satisfy the questions from the media sometimes for being in places where you'd like to have a shoot. And do promotions around the sponsors that increase the value of their involvement with the sport.
But without these types of aircraft to get to these places, NASCAR couldn't grow. I think we're part of helping them grow with maintaining the sponsors.
And as the Winston Cup Series schedule has grown through the years, so has the expense of more and bigger aircraft for the teams because it is time that has become such a precious commodity. Jack Roush has bought two 727s to replace the 15 or so smaller aircraft he used in the past.
It costs us 2.5 or 3 times as much to use the big airplanes as it does the littler ones. But when you look at the safety records that the big airplanes have, and you look at how fast they are, and you look at not having to stop halfway across the country, they're either going out or coming back, then it buys you a lot of time. And time is the one thing that we can't get more of.
You know, we've actually got 2 planes, and right now we're flying the BAM team and the Schrader Racing team when they need to go racing. It just makes it so much easier on them. You know, they can be in the shop. They can leave at 5 o'clock the day before they have to be there. Give them that day off. They can be off all that day. Plus they get home after the race, and with the Craftsman Truck Series, we run a lot of Saturday races and stuff. Give them all day Sunday at home. It just opens up so much more time.
It's a hell of a deal. It's something you got to have to do the type of sport we do nowadays. Now, do I want the debt and the payments and all that stuff? Heck no, I don't. But it's a necessary evil. It is.
Necessary, yet fun and rewarding all at once.
In June and July and August, it gets pretty hectic when the Schrader Racing teams got their trips. I've got my own agenda, and the BAM teams got their trips plus test dates and that. So it gets pretty hectic, but that's part of the fun.
I'm multi-engine instrument rated. I'm a Learjet captain, Learjet pilot. I got over 9,000 hours in the airplanes, and I'm a 9,000-hour pilot. I've been flying since 1983. A lot of people don't know that. I've flown about 20 or 30 different type of aircraft and had a lot of good times doing it.
I'm a 550 to 600 an hour a year guy. You know, I guess that means I fly about 50 hours a month. That means that I'm in the air more than an hour a day of every day. I probably fly 4 days a week on an average week, and on a good week I'll fly 5 days a week. I'm up for an hour and a half or 2 hours on average each time.
I guess we fly about 400 hours a year. Sometimes, you know, he might go 10, 12 days without flying, and then might fly for 2 weeks in a row. So, you know, he does keep pretty busy. Earl Blanton's been with me since 1988. Not a real good pilot, but he's the luckiest guy I know.
But luck isn't all they need. That's why some of the pilots created the Race Team Aviation Association.
You would have approximately 150 planes that were blown just to the teams and to the race car drivers themselves. So you can imagine the impact with everybody wanting to leave at the same time, either before the race or after the race, what it does to the air traffic control system. And so as a result of the air traffic control system, we had formed a Race Team Aviation Association to handle the air traffic centers and to coordinate with the FAA to get special routing for us so that we avoid the flow of the airlines and things like this.
Most teams fly out of 4 airports within a 50-mile radius in North Carolina: Statesville, Hickory, Lexington, and Concord. And just as aviation has had an impact on NASCAR, NASCAR has had an impact on the Concord Regional Airport, where 57 teams are based.
NASCAR would not have the presence in Cabarrus County and Concord if it wasn't for the airport, and the airport wouldn't have expanded as it has without NASCAR.
We are the only tower in the United States that has a flat screen monitor, just like that one right there, that is certified to do air traffic control.
Don't need to justify the runway anymore. We've heard enough. Let's just see how we can fund it.
We're having a runway extension built on the airport. We have 5,500 feet now. We're getting 2,000 more feet added. And when we 7,500 feet, it's going to give us a whole lot more airplanes than what we have now. A lot larger airplanes. 727s will be coming and be based here.
We're going to truly promote the fact that we are NASCAR Central, and we have so many teams in this area, and it's so important to the region.
So the busiest days at the Concord Airport, well, that would be Thursday when the NASCAR Air Force heads out on its weekend mission, and Sunday when all the planes wing their way back from the track.
I noticed Airspeed Channel wasn't mentioned anywhere in that. Think how much time we could save if we had one of those babies. Stick around. We'll be back. Robert Booty Barker doesn't want to be regarded as an inspiration, just as a NASCAR Winston Cup pit lane pro. What he is the embodiment of something we all wish we had, the conviction that anything is possible. Bob Dillner has the story.
The crew chief position has become a vital component for any team to be successful in NASCAR racing. There are many different names and personalities that make up the garage area, and one of the new faces in Winston Cup this year is Robert Barker. Although Barker's rookie season with the number 77 Jasper team has been up and down, Booty, as he is known by many, has proven that dreams can come true. With hard work and help along the way, Barker has made it to the upper echelon of racing, and he has done it all from the confinement of a wheelchair.
One thing I would say I was able to do is I was able to make definite goals or see the next step and the proper next step, be it with who I was with or what I was doing or where I was going to go. I was fortunate enough to make the right decisions there.
And those decisions Booty has made throughout his career have been the right ones. But his determination is what has impressed some of the big names within the sport.
He's had some awfully good role models. You know, he worked at our place with you know, some real smart people and learned how to win races, and then went to 24 and certainly could soak up a lot of knowledge there, and had the opportunity to work with a great crew chief and a great driver.
Booty's a hard-working, interested guy. Used to ask a lot of questions. Did shocks for a while when he was there. You know, only got to work for me, I guess, for about 6 months, but he just, you know, Booty's just one of the regular guys, and that's, I mean, if you want to say, okay, that's what sets him apart, it's just whether he's in a wheelchair or not, he's just one of the guys.
Booty lives life to the fullest, and you know, his intensity and his you know, the way he carries himself is unexplainable though, to the condition that he has to deal with on a daily basis. You know, he doesn't want to no way be treated to like he's in a wheelchair.
Tommy Baldwin, I always called him a street fighter. If you need to get it done, and you need to get it done however it is, you learn from him, you know, as far as that. Of course, at the 24, I guess from a refined level, from a, this is how you do it from the top type deal. So you learn that aspect. And from a people approach was at BD's a great deal, because we had to reform that team and deal with different things, so I had to learn how to deal with people. So I've had all kind of different elements.
Barker's coming out party came last year with Bill Davis Racing and driver Scott Wimmer in the Busch Series. He earned 4 victories as a crew chief, 3 of them in the last 5 races.
It's just so difficult to win in any division here, and we became very successful, I thought. And I was really proud of that, because I have a lot of respect for my competitors. All very smart, very good people. So to beat them on any occasion, I feel like it's an accomplishment.
I would like to see he and Scott stay together and grow another year and do what they could do in the Busch Series this year and see how that worked out. But, you know, it didn't work out, and he took an opportunity. You know, I don't guess you can blame him for that. Wish him well.
With 3 top 10s and 1 Bud pole in the first 5 races of this season, both Blaney and Barker knew there was some sort of chemistry between them. But both competitors know that there is plenty more to do before they can both be satisfied.
You're only as good as your last practice. I mean, last practice we were average, so I'm an average crew chief. You know, that's just how it always goes. It's so competitive and so fickle.
He's a young, aggressive, hungry guy, and he brought a lot of energy to our team. You know, we got some other people as well over the winter that have done a great job. But for all Bodie brings, he's pretty inexperienced as the Winston Cup crew chief too. So, you know, the really good side, you know, inexperienced will get you once in a while. But you know, we knew and can see that his upside is huge. So we'll be there in the end.
Now here's some really good news. Booty Barker will soon share his know-how with you here on Speed as a special NASCAR contributor. We're looking forward to it.
All right, boys, bold on the restrictor plates, head for Daytona. Let's see if somebody new can add his name to the Bud Pole standings. Qualifying set for Thursday night under the lights. Seemed like a long time ago that Jeff Green sat on pole for the Daytona 500.
The Bud Pole Award is brought to you by Beechwood Age Budweiser, with a crisp, clean, and refreshing taste known only to the king of beers. Valvoline's Max Life Maximum Performer is brought to you by Valvoline's Max Life, products formulated to help keep your higher mileage car running for a long, long time.
And this week's Maximum Performer Award goes to Kyle Petty for the money his annual charity rides have raised. $3.5 million going in, and they're still counting this year's money. Kyle also got the AMA's annual award for improving the image of motorcyclists in America. Among the 3,000 riders who have participated since 1995, Matt and Katie Kenson. He's the Winston Cup point leader. The ride, which has become a who's who of motorsports, ended yesterday at the Big Earnhardt concert in Daytona.
That concert honored the memory of the 7-time Winston Cup champion who was killed at the Daytona 500 2.5 years ago. Earnhardt's widow, Teresa, who's established a foundation to carry on his legacy as well as his race teams, welcomed the crowd at the Speedway. That crowd was treated to memories, including Dale's cameo in a Brooks and Dunn music video a few years back. Also on the bill were Alabama, the Goo Goo Dolls, Hootie and the Blowfish, and Sheryl Crow. Despite a few raindrops, the show went on, and you can see it on Fox on July 10th.
And that's Speed News NASCAR Edition. I'm Dave Despain.
And I'm Bob Barsha. Stick around. There's more to come here on Speed Channel.